conflicts. The day ran just a little bit late over in agility. I'm Kristen Jones, and I am really honored that the GSDCA Charitable Trust asked me to do this obedience seminar this afternoon, because I love obedience, and I want to help everybody here experience the same joy for obedience with their dogs that I do. So the theme for this seminar is how to make obedience fun, both for you and for your dog. I want to start out by talking about a couple of training, fundamentals that are really important for how you can establish the right type of training relationship with your dog, so that what you want to communicate is clear, and you can provide that clarity to your dog so that your dog has confidence when you're training, and confidence leads to fun. So the first thing I want to talk about is that communication system. Just by a show of hands, who here is familiar with the concept of memory markers? I see a couple of hands. Okay, memory markers, just like the word suggests, memory marker, or just marker, is a way to communicate with your dog instantaneously that of all the things that they have done, what they just did in that moment is exactly what you want them to remember. So a marker, or memory marker, helps dogs learn, and helps dogs remember. If you've ever heard of clicker training, a clicker is a very common type of marker. I use verbal markers. Verbal markers can be any word that you use consistently. I use yes, but you can also use wow, or good, or super. Just whatever you want your marker word to be, pick that word and use it consistently. So with my dogs, I use the word yes. Now, in order for the word yes to mean something, you have to do what's called loading the mark. So for all of you who brought dogs, because I told you this was going to be a working seminar, right? Did you bring cookies for your dogs? Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to load the mark, teach dogs what a marker means. So get out a handful of cookies, have your dog in front of you, and I'm going to show you what I'm meaning with Siri. It's going to be my little demo dog. So for a dog who has never heard a marker word before, here's the sequence. You're going to say your marker word, mine is yes. You're going to pause for half a second, and then you're going to feed at your body. Okay, you're not going to feed out here, you're going to feed right at your body, because you always want the dog coming into you. So it's going to go like this. Yes. 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 Okay? You're going to do that for about 10 to 15 repetitions. You want a very small treat, soft, something that the dog can, eat and chew pretty quickly. You're going to do, like I said, about 10 to 15 reps of yes, give the cookie, yes, give the cookie, yes, give the cookie, and then you're going to take a break. And you can play, you can just interact with the dog, and then you're going to come back and you're going to say yes, give the cookie, yes, give the cookie. So we're going to pause in just a second, and everybody's going to load the mark with their dogs. But before I do that, I want to talk about why this works so well. So everyone here has heard of Pavlov, right? Classical operant conditioning. Dog hears the bell, gets food. Dog hears the bell, gets food. Dog hears the bell, gets food. Dog hears the bell, they start drooling because they think the food is coming. That's what loading the mark is all about. Teaching the dog that when they hear that word, or they hear that sound, something really good is coming. Okay? So this is like really classical training, but it works really well. So we're going to take a break for about a minute, 60 to 90 seconds, while everybody plays this little game with their dogs. Then we're going to come back. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about markers and why it's such an important component of your training system. And then we're going to talk about reward ratios. Okay? So remember, here's the sequence. Yes. 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 And Siri is loving this. She's like, all I'm doing is sitting here and I'm getting these cookies. This couldn't be any better. Okay, night down. Siri, night down. All right, girl. Okay? Do you want to just break or do you want to? Okay. I'm going to turn off my mic. And who has worked, just by a show of hand, who has working dogs for this seminar? Okay, by a show of hands, who has working dogs? Who brought dogs to work in the seminar? Okay, so have your dog out. The dog can just be sitting in front of you or standing in front of you. And I will come around and just check on it to see how everybody's doing. What's that? Yeah, that would be great.
Yes. She gets a cookie.
It is. Here's your cookie.
Stop the filming for just a minute.
Yes.
The only thing is just don't be handing out the cookies to say the word. It's okay, and then over the cookies.
Can I ask you a question?
There you go.
If your dog is not particularly treat motivated or toy, is there any way to get them motivated?
Okay, that was a really good question. If your dog is not particularly treat motivated, is there a way to do this? Yes, but can be a little bit more difficult. So first of all, one thing to try is really, really high value treats. So, like get baked chicken or steak or something like that even the big dog would really like. Cheese or hot dog for a lot of dogs is just not good enough. But that's one thing to try, is to find something that's really, really high value in a food reward for the dog. The other thing is if the dog is not food motivated but is toy motivated, you can do it with a toy where you say yes and you pull out the toy. You have to have a release on the dog to get the toy back, but you can do it that way. Food is the best if you can find something sufficiently wow that the dog will enjoy.
Or to get them to engage, even if they say, oh, that treat's great, but they're not engaged.
If the dog, at this point, promoting the mark, they don't really have to be engaged. Okay? You're just establishing that the word means something really good is coming. Okay? Later on is when we ask for some engagement, but at the very first step of installing a marker word, they don't really have to be engaged. He could be looking away. You say yes, and you give that piece of steak or chicken or whatever you're able to come up with that he really, really likes. Okay? Any other questions? All right, I'm going to keep working my way around.
I didn't bring any rewards for them, so.
Try those. That's liver roll.
Oh, I can't come to the front.
Okay, so
yes, and then yes, and then yes. Yes. That was perfect. Okay. Wait, no. Okay. Yes. I do. He doesn't really know. I'm trying to dance rally title. You're out? Don't worry to some. Yeah, well, I've had two before, so not every dog is. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I did. I went far with my, not real far, but I did go pretty well with my dogs. And he had no self-esteem, but when we did that, it was amazing, wonderful to see. And we both felt great because it's an immediate report. Yeah, see, I've tried that too. That's not as immediate as no. But they're both good. I try to do everything. I try to find whatever is going to I had 3 German Shepherds and none of them really liked it. One of them especially got that. So we went to that. My middle one was afraid of the sheep. And he just thought, he picks all the Watch that. I'm going to walk 10 feet and sit again. Are you nuts? Yeah, I'm actually my service dog, so. And he did get his CDI title, so we go to the library. So, that's going to be his job. He helps me. He helps me with my mobility. And he loves that. He just wants to be near me. From the time we got it, he went to all so he really thinks of it stuff. Are you competing? Oh, that's nice. Really? Where are you from?
Oh, so these are the ones that have that egg says.
Just always rotate. That's great. And do you
Okay. I think I made it around to everybody. Siri, lie down. Right now. There. Okay, so a couple people asked the question, should I be asking them for attention? Should they be looking at me before I say yes? And the answer is, when you are first teaching the dog what the marker word means, you do not need to ask for any behavior whatsoever. All you are doing is establishing the cause and effect that hearing the word means something really good is coming. So you do not have to ask them to be paying attention or for any other behavior. Now, that game, the attention game, look at me and then say yes, that's a really good game for teaching attention. And there are lots of ways that you can build on it. But when you're first establishing the value of the word or of your marker, you do not need to ask for attention. So I want to spend just another minute or two talking about markers and why they're such an important tool in your long-term training program. Using markers is all about timing and consistency. So what I mean by timing is as soon as the dog does the behavior that you want them to do, you have to mark that in that very instant, okay? So, it's not 2 seconds after the dog does the behavior, it is right then, in that very moment. And then that treat needs to come a half a second later. Now, you will often read that when you use a verbal marker, your voice should always stay exactly the same because, clickers are a marker and the clicker always sounds exactly the same. And I would say that that's a good general rule, and I try to make my voice the same. Yes, treat, yes, treat, yes, treat. But the variation that I have put on the use of markers is that I use my voice as an additional component of my communication and the reward. So if my dog does something really exceptional, they try really hard, or it's the first time that they've done something, or they've worked through an incredibly difficult distraction, I will reflect that in my voice. So my normal marker for them doing, the correct behavior might be yes, yes. She does something phenomenal, I'm going to say, yes! And you know what? They know the difference. Her head will her ears will perk up and she'll be like, oh my gosh. Siri? No ma'am, lie down. Right down. Good girl. And it really imprints the value of what they did in that moment. They really remember it. Even more than if you were to just say yes. So remember that your voice is a really powerful tool to communicate. And what we're talking about with markers really is establishing a way for you to talk to your dog in a way that they will understand. And it is really, really powerful. So I said how important timing was when you're using markers. The other thing that's really, really important is consistency. In other words, when you are training, you want to be consistent in your use of markers. So you don't want to mix up words, and you don't want to miss those opportunities to identify when they've done what you want them to do. Because remember what I said at the very beginning, markers aid memory. They help the dog to filter out of the thousands of things that they have done in that day. That one behavior in that one instant is the thing that you want them to remember. Now, I use my predominant marker is my positive marker, my yes. Okay? But I also have what I will call a negative marker. Because I think that it is really important to be fair to our dogs. We need to communicate to them both when they are right and when they are wrong. And so if they are doing something, for training, and they do something incorrectly, instead of just standing there and being silent, I will say, uh-oh, that wasn't it. Because I think that's it's my responsibility to be fair to them and to give them as much information in the training process as possible. And there's nothing harsh about it, there's nothing mean or punitive, but they do recognize the difference between yes and uh-oh, that wasn't it. So I might say uh-oh or I might say no. But I will tell them so that they understand that's not what I was looking for. And it does mean something to them in the communication system. So does anybody have any questions about markers? You could spend, you could have an entire, 4 to 6 week training class just focusing on markers. But I wanted to get the concept out there so that you would understand what a powerful tool that it is in your training system. I will tell you, and this is the really neat thing about using markers and using them consistently. When you think about what are primary reinforcers for our dogs, food, play, I mean, those are kind of the primary reinforcers that we have to work with. Sometimes just an interaction, providing affection can be a primary reinforcer for some dogs. But the really cool thing about using a marker like yes or a click or okay is that over time, when you build so much value in that word itself can become a primary reinforcer. In other words, you don't have to give the dog anything in order for it to mean something to the dog. And what's really cool about that is that you can take the word yes into the ring with you, or okay. So you have a way that you can give your dog reinforcement, regardless of where you are. When I say yes, my dog's ears perk up and their faces light up, and they know that they've done something really good. And to have that tool at my disposal is really powerful. And that's what you can get when you use markers. All right, so the next thing that I want to talk about is reinforcement schedules, because one of the most common complaints for people training obedience is that they do it as long as I have a cookie in my hand. How many people have that frustration? They do it as long as I have a cookie in my hand, and as soon as I don't have a cookie in my hand, they don't do it anymore. As soon as I step in the ring, they know I don't have a cookie and they won't do it anymore. Nobody has that problem? All right, not a lot of people want to own up to it. I've been there, okay, with my Namaste dog and the dog after that. I was there. So the reason that people end up with that problem is because they don't know how to manipulate reinforcement schedules, okay? And this is a really, really important concept. And we're going to play with reinforcement schedules in just a minute. And I'm going to show you a little behavior that I want you to train that's going to help with our obedience gains in the next part of this seminar. But there are basically two reinforcement schedules, fixed and variable, okay? Now the most common reinforcement schedule is F1, fixed one. Every behavior gets a treat, every behavior gets a treat, which is sort of what we were doing when we were loading the mark. But that's okay, because a fixed reinforcement schedule, when you're first installing a behavior or you're first installing something, you pretty much have to be on a fixed reinforcement schedule. But the challenge, and I think where a lot of people don't appreciate the challenge associated with fixed reinforcement schedules, is that you want to get off a fixed reinforcement schedule really quickly. And when I say really quickly, I'm talking about, depending on what you're training, 4 to 10 reps. Okay? 4 to 10 reps of a behavior, fixed reinforcement schedules go out the window. Now, you're probably sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, but the dog's only done something for 4 to 10 times. But here's the thing. The moment you switch to a variable reinforcement schedule, it actually aids learning. It makes the dog work harder, and it helps, and it makes the learning mean more to them. So, everybody who's brought a working dog, we're going to work a very little behavior, okay? And I'm going to show you how quickly you can move from a fixed reinforcement schedule to a variable reinforcement schedule. Now, unfortunately, this dog already knows the behavior, so it's sort of not fair to use her as a demo dog. But I will offer it if so what we're going to teach is a thumb touch. Is there any dog in here who will work with me who does not know a thumb touch? And I will use that dog as the demo dog. You want your dog to be the demo dog? Okay, let me put her up. Okay, and 10.5-month-old girl, male. What's his name? Jordan. All right, come here, Jordan. You get to be the demo puppy. Hi there. Yeah, your mom is out there, but you're gonna stay with me. Does he have any food allergies? Okay. Hey, Jordan. Come here, Jordan. Do you want to? Why don't you stay in here just so that it doesn't stress? Okay. Switch back on again. All right, Jordan. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Is there another dog? We need somebody who will like turn on to the treats a little bit. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Okay. All right. We've got a dog here. Jordan, leave it. Okay, who is this? Raven. Raven. Hi, Raven. How old is Raven? 2.5. She's 2.5. All right. So, I'm going to teach, and she's never done a phone touch. Hey, Raven. Oh, my goodness. Yes, I love these things. Okay, let's sit. All right. So, all I'm going to do, here, I need you over here, sweetie. Look at the camera. You're on camera. There you go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to teach Raven to touch my thumb. Okay? I'm going to have a cookie in my hand. I'm going to lower my thumb really close. Touch, yes. Touch. Yes. Touch. Yes. Touch. Yes. Touch. Yes. See, I'm not asking for a lot, and sometimes the touching is a little bit accidental. Yes! Good job! All right. Touch. Yes. All right, now, I've done about 6 or 7 touches with her, right? I'm out of cookies. Just stay with her for a second. Bye. All right, so she's done 7 reps. She's gotten a cookie every time. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say touch. Yes. Touch. Yes. Good job. Did you see that she made a little? Oh, you need to step out of the way. Come here. So, I don't know. Did you catch that on video? Okay, good. The first time I said touch, she sort of touched my thumb. I didn't give her a treat. I said touch again, and she shoved her nose at my thumb. She's like, give me the darn treat. And that's what a variable reinforcement schedule will do. The dog will try harder to get the treat, okay? Touch, yes. Touch, yes. Touch. She touched, yes, there. She gave me a double touch, all right? So, I'll give you Raven back. She was a beautiful and perfect demo dog. Thank you, Raven. All right. touch, and then you're going to give the treat for a second touch. And then you get to play around with it. You might ask for 3 touches, you might ask for 2, you might ask for 4, okay? Before we get started, are there any questions? Questions, should they be in heel position? Yes, sort of, but you don't have to ask for a perfect heel position. The reason I like them in heel position is because the idea of the thumb touch, this is one of our healing games that we're going to talk about in just a little bit. So I kind of like them getting used to the thumb flipping out, okay? Any other questions?
She needs string cheese. This isn't going to be much for her. That's unfortunate. String cheese? You do. Want some string cheese? That would be good. Yes.
Anybody else need string cheese? All right. How's the thumb touch going? Good. You good? Any questions? Yes. Yay.
Take much training.
Like the beginning.
Don't be sorry.
Oh, now she wants it. Now he wants to. Touch. There's reward. I would take that. At the beginning, you take whatever you get. Touch. Yes. All right. Touch. That. Yes. Awesome. Touch. Yes. Now come lighter. Variable really is, think of it as random or intermittent, okay? And what that means, you know, when you really pay attention to how often you're rewarding your dog and what you are expecting from your dog before you reward them, that's when you put yourself in a position as a trainer to get the dog to understand that there's not going to be a treat every time and that they have to make an effort to earn the treat. Before we transition, because there were quite a few obedience games that I wanted to play with you or wanted to show you, and I think I do want to be able to use the other obedience rings so that, because some of these games are going to involve the dogs coming off leash. And so we'll use both of these rings. Hey, Ellen, would you get Siri out for me? She's on the right. Thank you. One other thing that I wanted to talk about with reinforcement schedules. So, I told you, 5 to 10 reps, fixed reinforcement schedule, move on. Now, that's asking one behavior, one very specific behavior from the dog. If you increase the difficulty at all in terms of what you are asking the dog to do, you can go back to a fixed reinforcement schedule, okay? So when I say 5 to 10 reps of a behavior on a fixed reinforcement schedule before you move on, I'm talking about the exact same behavior under the exact same conditions. The moment that you ask for more from the dog, that you up the level of difficulty of the behavior, you can go back to a fixed reinforcement schedule for another 5 to 10 reps because it's not the same behavior. Does that make sense? All right. No leash. Hi, Siri. All right. So, does anybody have any questions about reinforcement schedules or markers before we move on to the really fun part? I wanted to spend some time on that because I wanted to make sure that you had some tools in your toolkit to help your dogs learn in the most optimal way possible. And I know there are some people in here who do agility. Guess what? This same stuff, markers and reinforcement schedules, that all applies to agility too. This is not specific to obedience. This is specific to being the most effective communicator with your dog and trainer for your dog as possible. So, any questions? Yes. Come up to the mic. Okay. Is that any better?
That's a lot better.
Okay.
Here, thank you.
All right, so I was just asking if anybody had any questions about markers or reinforcement schedules before we move on to the obedience games. I don't see any hands. Okay. So I said at the beginning of this seminar that it was my goal to show you how much fun obedience training can be. And I just want to hear some feedback. What does everybody think the most boring exercise in all of obedience is? Healing. And I'm going to prove you wrong right now, okay? Everybody said healing is the most boring exercise in all of obedience. And guess what? It doesn't have to be. It's only boring because we make it boring. So, the next part of the seminar is going to be, I'm going to show you games that you can play with your dog to make healing fun for you and for your dog. So, is it okay if I turn this on? Okay, so Siri is going to be my demo dog, and the first game that I am going to show you is called the push and play, for which I actually need to grab a toy real quickly, but bear with me 2 seconds. Okay, so like I said, this first game is the push and play. I'm going to do just a little bit of healing with Siri, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give her a push with my left, and then I'm going to break away, and I'm going to immediately start playing with her. Now, if you have a dog who's not particularly toy motivated, you can also do a push and run, where you give the dog a little push away, and you run in the opposite direction, okay? So I'm going to show you right now.
Awesome! Yes, get it! Awesome!
Down. Down. Okay. Did everybody think that Siri looked like she was having fun there? Yeah? All right. That's what our job is. We need to make this game fun for them. And push and play is just one of many games. Did you see how attentive she was? I pushed, I played, we started healing. She was like, when is that game going to start? And that's what you want them thinking. When is the next game going to start? Okay? So, we can probably do, what do you think? 2 dogs per ring? I think we can do 2 dogs per ring. Keep your dogs on leash, please. Safety first. Okay? And we'll use that ring, and we'll use this ring. I'm going to put Siri away. Have your toy available. If you don't have a toy, you can do the push and run. I will demo the push and run for you, okay? And if you don't have it, if you don't have a toy and you want to try like a push and food, I'll show you that too. Push and run. Heel. Yes! Come on, come on. Yes! Yay! Good job. Okay. Siri. You can also do it with the tree. Ready? Heel. Yes! Get it! Okay? I pushed, I held the tree back. Can you hear me? I don't have another one. You gotta have another one. Ready? Teal. Yes, get it! You see that? Okay. So I'm gonna put her away. You pick, push, jump to the hand, push and play, or push and run. 2 dogs per ring on leash. Gates.
You got a flat one? I got a ball. You got some flat over there?
Flat, like, oh, all I have is my Frisbee. Those are the only toys I have for you today. All right, 2 dogs, come on in. Okay, and give each other space. You go on one side, you go on the other. Okay.
do just a little bit of healing, depending on what level your dog is. If your dog is a beginner, or maybe they don't have the best attention yet, only take 1 or 2 steps, because the purpose of this game is to really build engagement, okay? So, I'll turn the mic off. Everybody do your thing at whatever level your dog is at.
So, you need to push. You're not boring the dog. What you do, oust. Feeling. And show you kind of what you did. You got a really good push, but then you held the toy out here. So push, and you get her driving into you with the toy. Okay? Ready? There you go. Now you can hold it out, but I would hold it to my right. So as you're, I know it takes coordination. Yes, it does. Yeah, there you go. You can offer it to her. You don't have to hide it. You can offer it. It sounds like you might do a little bit of IPO. No, because you're using German commands. Okay, never mind. Well, yes. Okay. Out. So I would present this where, like, you're feeling, push, like that. So you work on that. I need to get around. Your left hand, off of your left hand. Okay, you asked for weight. So with him, what I would do is I would actually do it stationary. Start stationary so that he understands that this is really fun. Because he's kind of often, he's some more challenging. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. But I would start to sit. So that you just understand keep it small. Okay, he doesn't have to sit. You can do it standing. Just stationary. Okay. No, this has nothing to do with sitting.
Okay, let's get some more dogs in who haven't had a chance. But 2 things that came up that I think are really important to mention. The first of which is that depending on where your dog is, you may need to start from a completely stationary position. Instead of having the dog in any motion at all, you may need to start with the dog just standing or sitting in heel position and do the push and play, okay? Just so that they understand, so that they start to get the concept of what is actually, what this motion, what this feeling is all about. So it is okay at the very first time you're doing this, for them to be completely stationary. And you push, and you give them a treat. Or you push, and you offer them their toy. Or you push and you run. And if you have a dog who does not have really good feeling, or does not give you good attention, then I would suggest that you start this game in a stationary position. Build value for the game, okay? Everybody watch Debbie, because she did that perfectly. There you go. And that was a really nice push and run. Okay, so this is a dog that I would suggest keeping him stationary because he's sort of in the vicinity of you, but he's not really healing. So I would do the game stationary so that he's correct and he's in the correct position, and he gets to play the game starting from the correct position. Okay? Yeah, but you might want to give yourself a little bit more room. There you go. And did everybody, I hope people were watching, that dog's body language changed as soon as he felt that pressure from his handler and that motion back. The dog lit up. His body language said, oh, I kind of like this. All right. Yeah, did you see that? Did you see that tail wagging? This is good stuff. All right. Is there anybody else who wants to give this a try? Let's switch out, please. There you go. That was really nice. All right. We can have one more dog in that ring, and we can have 2 dogs in this ring.
Okay, then I would start stationary. Start stationary from right there. Push and play, push and play. There you go.
So the toy needs to be a little faster. But you did that otherwise exactly right, and she responded exactly the way we want them to respond. There you go. That was good. So what I would do is get the toy back, just leave her where she is, take 1 step forward and do a push and play. Nope. Hey, she's looking at you. There you go. Get the toy back, take 1 or 2 steps forward, and then do the push and play. She's looking at you? That's awesome. Now, the only thing I would do differently is that it's backwards immediately. You took a couple steps forward after you pushed her. Okay? Yeah. All right, let me see the teams over here.
Okay, yeah, that's David and Amy. I know them really well.
All right, that was good. I would suggest fewer steps at first. Yeah. And it's more backwards than it is sideways. Yeah, you push her out, and you kind of back up instead of coming out to the side. Yes, exactly. There, that was better. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Do we have any more dogs who want to give this a try? There's one over here. Okay. There you go. Good job. All right. We have at least one more dog, I think, who wants to give this a try. So let's do that, and then we'll move on to the next game. All right. So what I would suggest, because the dog is engaged with you as you're moving forward, just start from a stationary position. You don't have to ask him for a sit, but just start, from a stationary position and do the push and is that a term? Yeah, that's not a term. So the push and run, okay? There you go. That's better. There. So you want to get them accustomed to the idea that the push means to drive into you, okay? So I wouldn't rush it. There! Did you see how nicely they turned back? But I wouldn't, you're rushing him just a little bit. As trainers, we all want to do that. We want to go really, really fast, but it is far better to build a really solid foundation and take baby steps, okay? So, one more stationary, give him a nice firm push with your left and back up, and watch him really engage with you when he feels it. Okay, that was a little bit of a whippy push. When I say, it's not tap, it's a real push. So that he should really feel some resistance. There you go. But what we want him to do is feel that and turn into you. Okay? There, that was better. I would stop on that one. All right. Are there any questions about the push and run or the push and play? Okay. So the next game that I'm going to talk to you about, the reason that I introduced the thumb touch is the thumb touch game. Okay, so if you've trained obedience, a lot of people do a hand touch game. I actually like a thumb touch game because it is a better way of keeping the dog in the correct heel position. So I'm just going to real quickly show you the thumb touch game with Siri. And then we'll let you come out and try it. Now I realize that the thumb touch is pretty new for most of your dogs. So for those of you for whom it is really new, we're going to take like one step to a thumb touch, okay? Or we might even do it in a stationary position.
Yes, there you go. Good job. All right. All right. Did everybody see how I was able to keep my hand?
So when doing the thumb touch game instead of the hand touch game, we all heel in AKC obedience with our hands kind of at our middle. So with the thumb touch game, you have minimal motion. You take your hand flip it out. Hand, flip it out, and then you deliver the treat. And it keeps them in heel position far more effectively than a hand touch. Does that make sense? Yes? No? Okay. For those of you, I think we can probably do more dogs because we're all just going to go in a straight line. So I think we can probably fit 4 dogs in each ring, maybe even 5. Keep your dogs on a close leash, okay? We want everybody getting along. And we're going to play the thumb touch game. So you're coming. Exactly. So, brilliant question. You don't, when you're working the thumb touch game. Now, if this is the first time that you're working the thumb touch game in motion, then I might do a fixed reinforcement schedule for the first 5 to 10 reps, and then I would make it variable. Okay? Let me see. That's okay. I won't worry about that. They'll get closer and closer to the thumb anyway. All right? Okay, so when you're done, go ahead and leave the ring. And we're going to talk about the next game. Yes, there's a question. Wait, hold on.
Are you putting your thumb where you want the dog's nose to be? Or are you putting it higher so they have to reach up for it, or lower head position?
So the question is, where am I placing my thumb? I place my thumb basically so that I have minimal arm and hand movement. So that I'm just like twisting my arm out, and they're going to have to jump up just a little bit. So I don't want forward drive, but if I turn my arm that way, her nose is going to be in proper heel position to touch my thumb. And I keep it fairly up so that she does have to hop up a little bit to touch my thumb. Did that answer your question? Julie, did that answer your question? Okay, awesome. All right. So, I don't know if, yes, there's another question. What? Oh, okay. All right. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but there were several dogs in there. As the handler was playing the touch game, the dog was looking at them like, when are you going to throw your thumb down again? And again, that's what these games do. They create engagement because the dog's like, oh, that's pretty interesting. When is that game going to happen again? So, I have one other game, well, it's kind of part A and part B, that I'm going to show you, and then we're going to move on, and I'm going to show you some recall games. And while my wonderful assistant is getting Siri for me, I want to talk about why I've chosen these particular games to teach at this seminar. When you think about it, there are 5 core obedience skills that no matter what level of obedience you're in, there are 5 core obedience behaviors. You've got healing, you've got recalls, you've got fronts, you've got finishes, and you've got stays, like or impulse control. Okay? Siri, sit. No. Sit. And so I chose the healing games and the recall games because these games are part of your obedience foundation. And they should, no matter what level your dog is at, Siri's by down. No matter what level your dog is at, these games are appropriate for every level of dog. I play these games with my Ach dog Heika. In fact, I'd say 80% of our training is playing these games. Now, she plays variations on the games, that are appropriate for some of the other things that she's doing, like drops on recall and other things like that. But our healing is game motivated. We might have a training session where I'm working fronts and finishes. That's a variation on the recall game that I'm going to show you in a minute. So I chose these games because if you play these games and you get your dog really engaged and having a lot of fun with you, you are building an incredibly solid foundation for no matter what level of obedience you aspire to do. Okay? So the next game that I'm going to show you, I said it's sort of 2 parts because it's the spin and the twist game. So in order to play this game, your dog has to spin or twist. And I'm going to show you, I don't know how many of these dogs are able to do that. I'm going to show you real quickly how you would teach it, and then I'm going to show it to you as a healing game. And any dogs that already have a spin or a twist, I'll invite out to practice it or to try it. Okay, so when you're first teaching a spin or a twist, so for me, a spin is the dog turning in a clockwise direction, and a twist is the opposite. So you're going to have the cookie really close to their nose, in front of you, spin. And you want to have them turn all the way around and deliver the cookie at your body. Ready? Yes. Good girl. Ready? Yes. Yes. There you go. Good girl. So that's her spin. That's her twist. So once the dog, really understands what that movement is, and it'll take a couple of sessions, then I put the dog to my side and I teach them to spin and to twist from my side. Ready? Yes. Good girl. And notice how she does not come forward of me. I want all of her motion to the side and to the back. Yes. See how she did the right heel position? There you go. And we're going to do it the other way too. Good girl. Ready? So you teach these, first in front, then to the side, and then it becomes a healing game.
Yes, good job. All right. Did you see? Can they hear me okay? Can you hear me? Okay. So did you see how she spun and she immediately drove back to get back into heel position? Okay? And that's what you want. Ready? So now we're going to do the twist game. She's actually not quite as good at this one for some reason. All right, so that's the spin and the twist game. Yes, question?
So it was a really good question, and the question is, does it matter what hand you're using? So, and the answer is no, because, I will use my right hand. If she's in front of me, I could use my right hand either direction, or I could use my left hand. What really matters is the direction that your hand is going. Now, for the healing game, I always going to be using my left hand because she's in heel position. Does that answer your question? Okay. Are there any other questions? Yes. Because it's easier for the dog to learn the motion when they're in front of you. So it's just teaching them to turn around in both directions. It's just easier to train that when the dog doesn't know it when they're in front, and then to move it to the side. Couple of training sessions. The question was, how long is the transition from going from having them in the front to the side? Again, it depends on the dog, but usually just a couple of training sessions. Spinning and twisting, for the vast majority of dogs, is a highly rewarding behavior. It feels good. And, I know that there were some agility people who came over here Yes, ma'am. There you go. All right, so she's got that concept already. Why don't you just rotate? Let's make sure to face the camera. Why don't you get her into heel position and just stationary? So be patient. That was perfect. Good job. Nice. Now just keep her back a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, keep her hand back. Instead of letting her hand come forward. Good. So, in order to complete that rotation, you just need to twist your wrist like that. Yeah. So if you keep turning your hand like that, she'll, I don't know. Here, you want to give it a try? Ready? There you go. Let's repeat it happen. All right, is everybody? Okay, so she's doing it by your side. Now just try taking a couple of steps of healing and ask. There you go. So your timing was perfect. The first couple of times that you're healing and you ask for a spin or a twist, you may have to hold the cookie because they're going to be like, you really want me to go that direction or really want me to go out while we're going forward. So just be patient, hold it, and then they'll commit to the turn. So what I would do is I would just practice more in the stationary position just so that it's really solid because I think the motion is just, it's a little bit too much for her all at once. Is there anybody else? Nancy, do you want to give it a try? Healing? Because I saw she already, I saw that she's already working. Sorry. Okay. Okay, yeah. So turn around this way.
At heel position.
Yeah.
Just have trouble.
So just be patient and hold it out. So it's like so you're just rushing your hand a little bit, that's all. Yes, go ahead. So just turn your body a little bit. So I think all that's happening is that you're pushing your hand too far back instead of out.
Okay.
I think that's why he's
Okay.
and don't have your hand up here. You know, have it kind of out to the side. Because I have the advantage of long arms.
I know.
Try the other one. Try the other one. There you go. Here, I'll try it. spin, healing twist. So it's a game to build drive and engagement for healing. All right, are there any questions about the spin and the twist game? Okay, so I'm gonna get Siri back out, and I'm just gonna show you real quickly, with the games that I've showed you, you want to incorporate them kind of randomly so that the dog never knows what to expect. So I'm going to show you real quickly with Siri, and then I'm going to show you some recall games, okay? So that just gives you an idea how you can incorporate the healing games into your training. Does anybody think that Siri looked bored healing there? No? She kind of looked like she was having fun. She kind of looked like, hey, what's coming next, right? So that's the idea of first teaching the healing games and then incorporating them into your training. Any questions about these healing games before we move on to some recall games? No? Okay. So like I said, recalls, fast recalls, are one of the foundations of obedience. Are you laughing at me? Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you. Siri, just so that we can save some time, I'm going to show you several recall games all at once, and then we'll get dogs out to play the recall games. We'll just do one recall game at a time, but that way I won't be getting her in and out. Okay. Siri, come. Okay. So the first recall game that I'm going to play, and all of these recall games are designed to build drive to me. Okay? So the first recall game is actually going to be a cookie chase. Well, there's all of these have some component of chasing the cookie. But the first one, I'm going to move away from her. I'm going to load her a little bit. Does everybody know what the concept of loading means? I'm going to turn, I'm going to make myself really interesting, and then I'm going to release her, and I'm going to have a cookie in my hand so she'll get the cookie as soon as she gets to me.
Come! Yes! Good job, baby girl. Okay? Do that one more time. Sit. Now, one of the reasons that I turn this way and I kind of crouch down is because I want my body position to look totally different than me just walking away. Because I never want them thinking that it's okay to break and start running towards me when I'm walking away. So I completely change the picture. And if they do what Siri would have said, you just take them back. Sit. No reward. Get it! Yes. Good girly. Okay. all with a cookie or I'm demoing them all with a cookie. If your dog likes a ball or some other toy, you can do the exact same thing with the toy. So this one's sit. This one is going to be a toss between my legs. Now, the important thing about this game is that I'm going to tell her to COME, and when we play this game, I'm always going to vary the location at which I toss the cookie and release her to the cookie, because I don't want her getting pattern trained and thinking, oh, she always tosses the cookie at me. She always tosses the cookie at the exact same place. And by randomizing where, when and where you throw the cookie, you actually build more drive to you, and that's what we want. We want the dog driving. Here, come! Get it! And with this game, you can toss to the right, you can toss to the left, or you can toss between your legs. And to make it really fun for the dog, you can make it a back and forth game. But this particular game is really helpful for teaching the pickup and return that's so important in open and utility. So I'm just going to toss the cookie out. Get it! Siri, come! Yes, get it! Siri, come! Get it! Siri, come! Yes, get it! So I would play this several times, and then I would ask her for a formal front. Okay? So those are all the variations on recall games that I play with my dogs, including my Ach dog, to really build, number one, drive speed and drive. The cookie toss games help build this snappy pickup and turn back to me. And they just keep the training fun. And like I said, we didn't have time in this workshop to get into fronts and finishes, but that cookie toss game, I'll do 3-4 cookie tosses, and then I'll ask for a front. Okay? And then I'll ask for a finish. There's so many people who say, I can't work a lot of, you can't hear? I'm sorry.
Okay, is that better? Okay, so what I was saying, I apologize, I'm trying to figure out the best way to manage all this. So what I was saying is these recall games are so important for building speed and drive back to me. And when you play the cookie toss and run out and get it and come back to you, that is also a foundation for open and utility where they have to pick up an object, the article, the dumbbell, the glove, and pick it up and snap back to you. So that's a foundation behavior, the pick up and snap back to you, that you can install just by playing these cookie toss games. The other thing I said is that I actually use these cookie toss games to train fronts and largely to train fronts. Training fronts can be really boring for the dog. And we all know that our shepherds are like, look, I've already done this 3 times, I don't want to do this again. But when you make it fun, you're tossing a cookie out, tossing a cookie, and then asking for a front, you can actually get a lot of reps in on training fronts because they don't think of it quite the same way. It's not like you're drilling them. It's just a game. At that point, it's just a game. So you can actually, get more effective training in by playing these games. So what we're going to do is any dogs who are here who want to play these games, I think we can do 4 dogs in a ring, but with only 1 dog doing a recall at a time. So if you want to play these games, we're going to come on out, bring your dog into the ring, and then we'll do them just 1 at a time. Is there anybody else who wants to come out and play recall games? No? Okay, well, Julie, you have the ring to yourself, and you have the ring to yourself. Okay, so come down here, have your dogs facing this way. And the first game that we're going to play is where the dog gets the cookie from your hand. So you're going to leave the dog in a sit, you're going to turn, you're going to face them, and when you say get it, you're going to start running and you're going to let them catch up and get the cookie from your hand, okay? Go ahead. Leave them in a sit. Good job, Julie, that was perfect. So walk away a couple steps. That's good. Now turn and face. Okay, so you're going to turn and face. Ready? Get it. And then you're going to run like this. And yeah, with the cookie in your hand, showing it to them so they can catch it. There you go. Good. All right. The next game, we're going to start back down here. Variation, you're going to leave the dog in a sit. You're going to turn. You're going to say ready, get it, and then you're going to just toss the cookie. There you go. Good. Good job. All right, good. Did you lose it? Okay, so the next game, you're going to leave them in a sit. You're going to go out and you're going to turn and face them, just like you would be facing them for a recall exercise. But before the dog, and then you're going to call them to come, and then before they get to you, you're going to toss a cookie to your right, to your left, or between your legs, your choice. So, did you see how Julie's dog was a little bit tentative coming in and she just encouraged him a little bit? But this game is actually really helpful for breaking through that type of tentativeness, because when you play it enough, the dog is going to start thinking, I better speed up because any moment now she's going to toss that cookie. So let's see if this time the speed is a little bit better. Yes! That was so nice. So the next variation, you're going to leave them down here. You're going Now turn. There you go. Now you back up. When you turn, I should have mentioned this. Now Julie, back up, back up. Give yourself more space. Back up, face. There you go. And now just call them through. There you go. Now you turn back away, move away, come, toss the cookie, you go in the opposite direction. Toss the cookie, you go in the opposite direction. There you go, and just call it to you. There you go. All right. Any questions? Any questions? Okay. So I hope, just there's so many games that you can play with your dogs. There are probably 10 more healing games that I could show you. There's just a world of fun out there if you're just willing to sort of break out of the rut. I think obedience has maybe a bad reputation for being boring and very rote and not a lot of excitement. And I hope that with the games that I've shown you this afternoon, that you'll see that obedience really can be just a ton of fun for both you and for your dog. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have, but I really wish you very happy training.